The other thing that comes out of the owners meeting is Jimmy Haslam talking, and Mary Kay Cabot from cleveland.com tweets this out. No ultimatum for Kevin Stefanski in his first full season with Deshaun Watson, but we have expectations to make the playoffs, and everybody understands how important that is. Jeff, I wouldn't expect the owner to come out in March with an ultimatum of it's playoffs or your head, but I like the thought. We expect to make the playoffs.
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like it's an ultimatum without it being an ultimatum, right? But when you go out and you spend this money, and look, I mean, the Browns, and everybody, makes the jokes about, off-season champions once again. But, you went out and you signed a starting defensive tackle. You signed a starting defensive end. You signed a starting safety. You went out and you brought back linebackers. So you have, starting linebackers. You bring in a player like Elijah Moore. You bring in another tight end, even though you had a tight end too that you were comfortable with. You saw a chance to upgrade it. So you did. And the other thing is you have a quarterback who's on a contract of $230 million guaranteed. Playoffs should be the expectation every single year. Otherwise, what are you paying that money for? We'll see. Obviously, if the tweaks between the roster, the coaching staff, and the changes that have been made there, both as far as defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator, and you see them making moves, thinking specifically about special teams. You try to do everything you can, and this is where the Browns have been good under the Andrew Berry regime. Is they get themselves to the draft. And they're not even necessarily looking for starters. You're at that point looking for depth players. And, it's a great way to do it because if the kids you draft, if they outplay the potential of what you thought they had and become, regulars right out the gate like Martin Emerson did, it just makes your, everything work better for you. But yes, I mean, with this team and everything that's going on in Baltimore, and, I don't think anybody thinks, Pittsburgh is there just yet. We all know Cincinnati is the beast right now of the AFC North. But you play well against Cincinnati every time you match up against them. Yes. I mean, in playoffs should be the expectations, especially when, not only are you paying the quarterback that, but it's not like you have much cap space left. You're paying, there's no way to think that any chance this is a tank year because you're not tanking anyway. You don't have the picks anyway. So, you have to go out there and you have to compete. You have to succeed. Look, at the end of the day, it's not an ultimatum, but, it probably is an ultimatum because if you go to the playoffs your first year as a head coach and then you don't go the next 3 seasons, it's really hard to figure how that man would stay around.